Minasan, konnichiwa, Regan desu. Okay, it's been a little while since my last video. Sorry about that, but I've been very busy. I've been getting into my apartment, getting set up with my apartment, and of course working as an English teacher. So it's been about 3 weeks, but the good news is in that time I've had lots of time to learn more about getting settled in Japan, mostly through failure, which seems to be an ongoing theme, which is great because you can learn from my mistakes. So today's lesson is going to be getting set up in Japan with a Gaijin card, a bank account, and health insurance as well, which is 3 pretty big things for when you want to work here. Okay, first up, pretty easy, Gaijin card. So they'll give you this at the airport. You just have to fill out your details and have your passport and everything, which you'll obviously have. But don't do what I did and forget where you live, which just seems to be something that I keep doing. My mistake, my big mistake was I didn't have my address written down, and so I ended up, fortunately I had internet when I arrived. I had bought a SIM card, shipped it over to Australia, and had internet when I flew in, which was lucky because I had to text Kaz basically to find out what the address was written down. So make sure you have the address that where you're staying, which is pretty important. And once you've got this, make sure you hold on to it as well because you need it to set up your bank account. So the next thing, my next failure was the bank, and this is probably my biggest fail. I spent I think 2 days trying to open a bank account because I forgot this. This is a hanko, and you need it to start your bank account. Well, you don't need it. There are banks that you can open with just your signature. So these hankos, which is just katakana for Hancock, as in signature, it's easier to have one of these because you'll need them for documents as well. They're just handy to have. You can use your signature for most things, but the Japanese are a bit old-fashioned and use these ones. Okay, so I had ordered my hanko, so I didn't actually forget it. I just hadn't received it yet. We'd ordered it in the mail, but it was going to take a couple of days. And so I tried going to 2 banks on my first day, trying to open it without my hanko and just do it with a signature. So we Googled which banks we could do it with. The first one actually didn't accept it, so they wouldn't let me open an account without the hanko, and that was UFJ, one of the branches in Nagoya. The second bank would let me start an account without my hanko, so they would let me do it on my signature, which brings me to my second fail, which just ruined the day, was when you get your Gaijin card, you have to go to the city ward office and get your address approved and stamped on the back. No registered address, no bank account, which my work actually told me about, so I'm not doing things very well here. If I hadn't read my email properly from work, I would have known that I had to go to the city ward office first. So when you set up your bank account, first of all, get your Gaijin card from the airport. Secondly, take it to the city office and get make sure you have a piece of mail with your name addressed to where you're staying. Let me start this again. Okay, so number 1, know where you live, so have your address written down when you're on the plane and give it to the man when you want to get a Gaijin card. Number 2, get your Gaijin card, then take it to the city ward office with a piece of mail with the address on it addressed to you. So you can set this up. If you're staying with a host family or anyone that you know in Japan, before you come over here, send yourself a letter or get anything sent to yourself at that address so they can just receive it and give it to you when you arrive, but you need a piece of mail with your name on it at that address. Take your Gaijin card, take that to the city office, get your address put on the back and they'll stamp it officially. Get a hanko ordered. Damn it. Let me start this again. Okay, I've taken a short 5-minute break to write all this down, so I'm not going to get it wrong. Okay, number 1, order your hanko to your address in Japan in your name, so you can use that box container as a proof of address before you come. You can get the hanko, you could just buy the hanko before you come to Japan, so you can buy it in your own country, get it ordered, and use a different proof of address, but make sure that you have the hanko and you have some sort of mail with your name on it at the address that you're staying at. Number 2, know your address and contact name and phone number of who you're staying with in Japan ready at the airport so that you can get your Gaijin card. Number 3, take your Gaijin card to the city office and get your address officially signed by them. Yes, on the back. Big tip as well is take a Japanese person with you. Mine was in Nagoya. I'm not sure if it's different in Tokyo or wherever else you're going, but I can't speak very good Japanese. Kaz pretty much did all the talking. They didn't have English translators or anything. I was quite surprised how someone would go about getting this done without a Japanese friend. So have that ready. Then, once you get this signed, take your Gaijin card, your passport maybe, and your hanko to the bank, and you can start an account as well. And same thing with the bank, they don't have where I was going. I went with UFJ, was the bank that I went with, and they didn't have any English translators there either. So if you don't speak Japanese, make sure you have, if you're staying with a host family, get your host family. Otherwise, usually your work will do it for you as well. So if I didn't have Kaz, I would have just rang up work and asked for one of those guys to come with me as well and get that set up for me. Once you get your bank account, they'll set you up with a PIN number, and then they'll mail out the ATM cards to you as well. So you'll have ATM cards and the internet banking. And so the last thing to get set up is your health insurance, which is actually done when you take your card to the city office. So when you're there getting the address put onto it, they'll also want to register you for health insurance, which you can do there on the day. And again, you need a Japanese person there for you. If you don't speak Japanese, even if you do speak Japanese, there's a lot of forms as well. So if you can't read kanji, that would be my big recommendation, is when you go to the ward office, or the city office, or when you get your bank account set up, make sure you have a Japanese person with you because you'll need a translator. Okay, so that's how to get set up with a Gaijin card, a bank account, and health insurance. So hopefully you'll be a little bit more prepared than I was, and I hope all my failure over here isn't going to waste. So make sure you have all that sort of stuff ready before you come here, because it will make getting set up a lot smoother, especially if you're short on time, if you have to start work straight away. Otherwise, my next video I'm thinking will probably be about either getting set up with an apartment or phone and internet, not on contracts, which was a pretty cool discovery. So if you have any questions about anything in the video, or you have any requests for future videos, what you want to hear about, let me know in comments below, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Otherwise, arigato, ja, matte ne.